Welcome back to Man United but better. After a 2 week hiatus, we're back. After a really boring international week, we welcome Premier League football back. And Man United faced Brighton as they look to solidify their place in the top four, especially the second spot. Before going to the game, a lot of teams around Man United had drop points. That is Chelsea, who lost us to West Brom, surprisingly at home, 2 goals to 5, and uh, Tottenham dropped points against Newcastle and Leicester lost to Man City. So everyone around United had drop points. So if United managed to get a victory this game, that would imply that they would easily make it to the top four, or at least solidify their place in the top four. So this is a United lineup. They went for their usual 4-2-3-1, but this time it was Fred and Pogba who played in the double pivot. This is something that is what United fans have been asking for because of the fact that Pogba is a much better ball progressor than McTominay, who usually plays in this role. The front four was again Fernandes, Rashford on the left, Cavani up front, and Greenwood on the right. The back four was Lindelof, Maguire as centre backs, Van Bissaka and Shaw, the usual lineup, and Ole went for Dean Henderson ahead of David De Gea. And he even said in the post-match press conference that he doesn't exactly have a favorite. So he said that both the keepers are going to get game time come the end of the season. So United started off this game in a very bright fashion. They were passing the ball quickly, they tried to create chances, they were moving the ball around, they kept possession. But this just lasted 10 minutes without them creating anything. Then it was completely Brighton. Brighton started getting on the ball, they started passing quickly, and Brighton and Graham Potter have shown that they are a footballing side. They can play football. They like to pass the ball around, they have good movement. And all this resulted in a chance for Brighton. Pogba gives the ball away in midfield pretty cheaply. Fred is not able to intercept the ball. The ball is pushed to the right wing, and a cross comes in, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka falls asleep at the far post. Danny Welbeck gets his head to the ball. Dean Henderson actually makes a brilliant save, but Danny Welbeck gets the ball again, and he finishes it off. And United go down 1-0. Now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as good as he is defensively, there have been quite a few question marks about his number one, his offside discipline. As in, a lot of times he's caught playing upon players offside. To be honest, he doesn't have an excuse because usually fullbacks can see the entire pitch in the sense that a fullback can see players in front of him. So and his the rest of the defenders in front of him to the left, so he can it's easier for him to maintain a good offside line. So that is where Wan-Bissaka lacks, and he also is very bad at marking runs at the far post. He United have conceded quite a few goals because of this, and quite a few chances as well. And this one as well, he had to get his head to the ball before Welbeck did, but Welbeck does really well, and he gets a goal at the Stretford end. Now United through the first half looked like a team out of ideas. There was no spark. Surprisingly, for a team with Pogba and Fernandes playing together, they barely created anything in the first half. They didn't even have a single shot on target in the first half, which was very surprising. Second half started off pretty much the same. I mean, United's passing was all over the place. They couldn't find each other. There was a lot of problem in cohesion, and again, they did not create a lot of chances. This was a very poor display from Man United from an attacking sense. Defensively, Harry Maguire had a brilliant game. He was again colossal in defense. Apart from that slight error, which may or may not have been a penalty, I think Graham Potter had a good point when he said after the game that if the penalty was given, it wouldn't be overturned. But because the penalty wasn't given, it wasn't overturned again. So it's one of those cases where I don't understand why the VAR doesn't advise the referee to take a look again. If you don't want to overturn his decision, let him take another look and make sure he gets the right decision. In this case, it favored Man United, but it's not good for the game when you have a technology, when you have an option for the referee to look at it again. Let him take a minute and look at it so that the result in the end is a fair result. In my opinion, it was a penalty because this season we have seen penalties being given for far less than what happened. So there was definite contact between Maguire and Welbeck. I think Maguire clipped his legs, and in that case, because he wasn't going for the ball, it should have been a red card for Maguire as well. Because I think David Luiz got sent off in a very similar fashion where he did not go for the ball, but because of the fact that he impeded a attacker from taking a shot on goal, he got a red card. So I think United were lucky to get away with that. They made them pay with again. Brighton were a bit sloppy playing out of the back. Uh, Bruno gets the ball, drives at the centre backs, and does a brilliant job in drawing the centre backs in, releasing Rashford and passes the ball at the exact right moment. The pace on the ball or the weight on the ball is so perfect that Rashford doesn't even have to take a touch. Rashford opens up his body and calmly slots it out to the far post. It was a very good finish from Marcus Rashford. And United were back in the game. It was 1-1. After that, United looked much better. Like like United always do. They were passing the ball quicker, and they wanted to get that second goal, but it just wasn't coming. There were a few good chances. Greenwood had a chance which went just over the bar, and finally it was a very scrappy goal that United found. It was Donny van de Beek who was on at that moment for Rashford. Does a brilliant job in drawing the right back outside of his position. This creates a huge gap between the right back and the right-sided centre back for Brighton. Bruno Fernandes, who's literally the engine of the team, makes a run. Luke Shaw does a brilliant job in find the run of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno gets the ball, looks up, sees the run of Pogba, crosses the ball into Pogba. Pogba tries to half volley it into the goal, but he miskicks it, and the ball suddenly drops in the middle of the D box, and Greenwood very instinctively moves towards the ball and heads the ball in, and Man United lead to one. And yeah, and then they hold on to it to finish the game 2-1. It was a very good win for United, results wise, but performance wise, as we've seen from United over the last few months, they're not very good. They're not very good at all. I mean, I was thinking about this as to whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. As in, I mean, of course, you would like your play style to be good, but I think what United have lacked over the last few years is this ability to grind results out. Because this was the first game after an international break. The team hasn't trained together for a while, and it had people like Pogba, Cavani, who were injured for a while, who were coming back into the team. So they would obviously take time to gel into the team. And the first game can always be tricky because if you don't hit form and the other team is a bit more fitter than you, they can they can easily get the result. But I think United showed a good deal of mental strength in hanging on to this result. I think this bodes well. I mean, as long as the performances improve going to the end of the season, I don't think any United fan will be concerned about the result. No one's going to complain about the result. As far as tactics go, again, this is one of those games that individual ability saved United. There was absolutely nothing tactically from Ole which helped United as a team in this game. To be completely honest, Brighton played a more fluid form of football than United did in this game. It's just that United had better attackers up front, better players up front who, in those clutch moments, got the goal. So, all that being said, I think United should consider themselves lucky getting these 3 points. And given that they're now 9 points ahead of fifth place, top four should be pretty much secured unless we see a monumental collapse from United in the last 7 games of the season. As far as the title goes, the title's gone. I mean, United are 14 points behind City with a game in hand, but there is no way City are going to drop 11 points in 7 games. So all United can hope for now is to make sure that they solidify the second place, so that it's a slight improvement of over where they finished last year, and go all in to win the Europa League. They had a brilliant opportunity to at least get to the final of the FA Cup, because if they had gone past Leicester, they would face Southampton in the semi-final, and that'd be the easier of the ties, considering that the other half is Man City and Chelsea. So yeah, unfortunately, United missed out on a trophy there. But I guess Europa League is up for the take. As far as the top three performers of the game went, I have to give it to Greenwood, who was brilliant in his all-round display and even got the winning goal. Harry Maguire for his insanely solid performance at centre back, and Fernandes at camp because I mean he was having a very bad game, but the brilliant pass to Rashford to set up the first goal and his industry to make that run in the 80 plus minute to get the second to get the pre-assist for the second goal was just brilliant work. And three bad performers go. I'll have to give one to Wan-Bissaka because he was extremely poor on the day. Uh, Neil Maupay, he did not help Danny Welbeck out much in his defense. And the other one, I'll have to go for Cavani because I mean he barely contributed to the game. He looked completely off the pace. Maybe it's a fitness issue, maybe it's a mental issue where he doesn't exactly like being in Manchester. But I mean he had a very poor game. And with Martial reportedly out for the season, United have to hope that either Greenwood or Cavani step up because we can't just rely on Rashford and Fernandes to get all the goals. And given that Rashford took a slight knock and is a doubt for the next game, it's going to be a big headache for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as to who is going to start up front because none of his attackers are in goal scoring form right now. So that's it for this week's episode of Man United But Better. We'll be back again midweek when United play their quarterfinal game in the Europa League. Until then, take care. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.